Welcome to Lesson 1, Finding Your Thesis Statement. Whenever you write an essay in school, you are responding, usually, to a thesis question or an essay prompt. Finding a thesis statement begins with considering a question. So, for instance, consider the 3 following questions. Now, what do you notice about these questions? Here's what I notice. They are not yes or no questions. And also, they are very, very difficult questions to answer well. The first question, why is Bilbo Baggins a hero? I could say, obviously, that yes, he is a hero, but I must explain why. The second question, Emily Dickinson's and William Shakespeare's views on death, I cannot answer that question right away. And why might The Great Gatsby be considered an ironic title for the main character? I don't know. I have no idea right now, in fact. And, obviously, this is the real trick. When teachers ask you these difficult questions, they want you to spend time carefully considering the answers to them. And this can take lots and lots and lots of time. The great secret? An essay begins the moment you start reading a book. You know you're going to write an essay about this book. Inevitably, your teacher will assign you one. So, the best way to get good at writing essays is to learn how to be a better reader. Writing a great essay is all about reading a text carefully. So here's what I'm telling you. The best way to find a thesis statement begins way before you actually sit down to write your essay. The best ways to find a thesis statement are to read carefully, and reread, and reread. Also, to annotate your textbook. So how do you read a text carefully? You read it, and then you reread it, and then you reread it. And you keep rereading those sections you don't understand. And when your teacher is going off about how Bilbo's sword's name is Sting, and you don't understand why that's such a big deal, well, that means you have to go back to the text and understand yourself why it is a big deal. Also, another thing you can do is annotate the text, meaning ask questions. Take sticky notes and fill your book up with little sticky notes about your thoughts, lit devices, imagery, onomatopoeia, anything that you see. You should practice engaging your text. Finally, participate in class. An essay is all about sharing your ideas. It's an extended conversation with your teacher outside of class. Therefore, you need to practice sharing your ideas. And where can that begin? In the classroom. Now, after hours of carefully considering that question, you have found your answer. Once you've found that answer, that is the beginning of your thesis statement. Now, after carefully considering that question, you may have found several different answers to it. Your best answer, the best answer that you think you can prove, that is your thesis statement. But first, you have to make sure that your answer is an answer that you can actually write about. And guess what? Your best answer to that difficult question, that is your thesis statement. So let's take a look at it. Alright, let's get back to our thesis question. Remember, your teacher just asked you this question. Would you consider Bilbo Baggins a hero? And after some careful deliberation, you've come up with several answers as to why he might be a hero. So read the following answers. And the winner is this one. Bilbo Baggins is a hero because he acts in resourceful, intelligent, and selfless ways during his adventures in order to save others. This answer not only answers the question that Bilbo is a hero, but it carefully explains why he is a hero. Now you have an answer. Bilbo Baggins is a hero because he's intelligent, resourceful, and selfless. Now, what you have to be able to do in order to write this essay is you have to prove it. And you can only prove an essay, you can only prove your thesis statement by finding concrete evidence. That means quotes from the text that back up your reasonings. Now, here's what you have to do. If you cannot think of enough evidence to answer this thesis question, you either have to stop writing it and find a thesis you can prove, or you have to go back to the text and be willing to hunt down all that information to help you prove your thesis statement. Now, if you can find 3 strong pieces of evidence, 3 quotes that definitively prove your thesis statement is correct, and then you can explain why they prove that your thesis statement is correct, you now have enough information to make an outline, and you can begin writing your essay. In our next lesson, we'll start looking at how to write an introduction, looking at body paragraphs, and we'll look at what an essay like this would look like.